Yay! Okay. Is jullie still kombucha geraas? Thank you. Okay. I got a machine with better Wi-Fi, so I'm retrying the whole broadcasting thing. So, you do realize that you're writing your second theory test on the right. Heat sort, and we've finished. So I'm trying to finish, I'm going to try and finish heat sort today. And Wednesday is really nice ones, but I'm through heat sort a bit quickly. Okay, but you are prepared. You know exactly which things you have to learn in terms of theorems and proofs, right? So the theorems, you have to know the content of the theorem. For the proofs, I explicitly marked certain proofs that you have to know. I mentioned them in class, and Bas juffrou could see it, because she was supposed to send me a list of all the proofs that you have to know. Anyway, yeah, so what I'll do is I'll go through my book, double check with Ms. Kutsia, and then reconfirm what proofs you have to know. Chapter 2 contains a lot of proofs which use the ja, se flippend woord nou uit my kop uit. No, the Cn less or equal to Cn minus 1 recurrence ratio. Nee man, ek gesels, nie julle nie. Okay, recurrence relation. Probably something with one of the recurrence relations proofs, because that's nice and mathematical, but I will confirm before you write the test. Don't start learning on first, well, don't start learning on first, okay? What do you have to know for the test? You have to know all the algorithms, not necessarily code in detail, except for heap sort, but you have to know the algorithms. Yes, so it's all the theorems, selected proofs. You have to understand the algorithms, because I ask you to give 10 items, sort them, selection, sort, or insertion, or merge, or whatever. You have to know the algorithms to that detail. You must be able to do that algorithm by hand on a small data set. Then if you can do that, you must start wondering about the complexity involved. So what is the number of compares? Yes. What is the number of exchanges? What is the number of array accesses? Yes, those three things: number of compares, number of exchanges, accesses, because that's how we measure the algorithms. And then you have to know all about, is this algorithm this? You have to know what that is, go check in the book. Is this algorithm stable? How does this algorithm react to certain types of input? Because in general, you assume we have random input and output. But we know it's the case. So what does the algorithm do with data in sorted order? If I give it data in reverse sorted order, if I give it data that's almost sorted, And if I give it, so for every, you have to know what it will do. What do I mean by what it will do? In the worst case, get what's now. Hello, Meneer Becker. Get from your somebody in class what I just said, because I just said what you have to know for the test on Friday. Okay. Let me get away from the camera again. Okay, so let's see priority queues. We do now for the previous 4, 5 sorting. We just looked at an array of numbers or strings or whatever and sort the thing. And you can imagine what applications are. But there is some applications that require a certain amount of scheduling. An operating system, you haven't done operating systems yet, that you can have multiple processes running at the same time. In the old days, one had only one processor. Now you have a few more, like quad-core processors. So processing the machine. So you could do things really simultaneously on 2 different processes. But trust me, that most applications are sequential. And it will blow your mind next year in the 3rd year when you start writing truly concurrent programs. It is so nice. But anyway, okay. So if I have different processes in an operating system, what does the operating system do that the processes are running simultaneously? It schedules it. It puts them in a queue, and then there is a certain scheduling algorithm that will decide which process runs next. Okay. So what you want is a sorting of the jobs. For example, on priorities. Yes? So I'm super user, my processes must run first. I've got root. Okay, so, or for cell phone. Have you ever noticed you might be playing a game on the cell phone or reading Facebook, WhatsApping, and then a call comes in and it starts ringing. Now think about that. There are 2 processes. One, you are busy with one of them, but something interrupts the current process and gets priority. On a cell phone, an incoming call normally gets highest priority. So it interrupts your process. Yes, so there's scheduling going on. Okay, so what we do with sorting then is we keep a structure that keeps things almost sorted, comes in, and you schedule between them. Right? And the structure that we priority queue, and the priority queue is a data structure where we do basically 2 operations. We insert a new item, and we remove the maximum. Yes, so that's why it's a priority queue. Something with a priority gets service moved, right? So like waiting in a queue with admin, and then a lecturer comes up and jumps to the front of the queue. Something like that. We don't do that anymore, but anyway. You could, in principle, somehow. In the lab, yes, I could probably overrule you there, poor rank. So you remove the maximum, the item with the highest priority, and you insert. That's all you do. So we want to build an we want to use an efficient data structure that will support those two operations. Okay, so think back to arrays. The linked lists are very easy to insert in front. Arrays, you can insert at the back, that's very quick, immediate. But then to remove the maximum on that structure. So neither the linked list nor the array can do this really efficiently, because remember, if you delete that process. So basically what you would get, there's a nice little table in the book, there we go. The dilemma we're facing, is the following. If I use an ordered, my insertions and my removes are linear versus constant. Unordered versus linear. So proposing with the priority use is to use something called a heap. Have you used heaps before, last year? No? Okay. So the nice thing is that I can get both for the insert and for the remove maximum log n. That's 2. And if you see log for a long list of things, you immediately think 3. Yes, that's the only way I can find in n things, is if I organize it somehow in a tree. This is, the heap is, I don't want to call it, it's not a tree. It looks like a tree. If you draw to visualize heap, it sort of looks like a tree. Okay? But it's implemented in a very, very nifty way. So, you all know, yes, if I have a complete binary tree, you know that your search yes. If it is ordered in some way. So the difference between the classical binary tree and the heap are the following. Firstly, you'll notice that this is not quite ordered, because if it was truly ordered, as you know from binary trees, you have the A over here and so on. Yeah. So, typically ordering, but you may notice for any node than the 2 children. Yeah. Then both S is bigger than both P and so on. So the property of the heap ordered complete binary tree is the fact that the parent is always bigger. Remember, what is the problem with the typical binary tree and inserting ordered data? You get a long list. Yes, do you remember that? Yeah, I see a few yeses. So if I insert ordered data into a binary tree, I always do the comparison. I see it's less. So I go down in the left, everything is on a long thing, which is just a list. Yes? So with a typical binary tree, the worst case search is n, not log n. We don't worry about the order of the inputs. What we say is that a parent has 2 children that are less. How to insert into the heap, and we we'll see how we can use the heap, which then always has depth log n. You know what I'm talking about? To do our sortings. Okay. And this is the part we are to build a classical. We're not going to build a classical tree where I actually implement a node and two links, because this is data in the middle of the node, and then I have two pointers pointing to the others. Yes. We can get rid of these links if we use an array to implement the heap, implement the heap, given that it's complete. What does it mean for the tree to be complete? It means every single node has two children. You'll never get a node with just one child. Every single node has or zero. Right at the end, either have children or you have two children. Just check. Okay, those are the properties. Now, how can we implement this with an array? Well, it's quite cute actually. I like tricks like this. Okay.
What happens if it's uneven? Because as you say, each one has to have two children. It's even because you've got one, and each of the two children, there's an extra one item.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Think about actually, I'm not sure. Okay, in the test with that one. Okay. Actually, the answer comes up just now, but see if you can see the answer to that question. Thank you very much. Okay, so how do we I'm going to have my classical node object and two pointers and so on. We're going to do it more efficiently. We are going to do it with an array. So what we do, if you look at your heap and the nodes starting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 1 from now to the next one from the yes. So yeah, if you do that, it's very easy. If I give you a given node where it is, and to know where it is, okay? Because clearly, if I give you a 10, the parent must be 5. What is it? Half of? Yes? So it's the floor of, if I give you something, a node k, the parent must be at the floor of k divided by 2. Try it for anyone. 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5, floor 3. Yep, my parent is at 3. Okay, but if I give you a node k and I want to know siblings k and 2k plus 1. With using, I can represent this heap, and if you give me any node from that array, I can find its parent, and I can find its, or I can find two children. Yes.
So I have 2 children.
Oh, they wouldn't get there. You would add them to 6.
So you'd have to add to,
Yeah, you fill up the levels.
and if the values are greater than 0.
Then, oh,
Yeah.
aha, very good. I simply add things in the beginning when I build my heap until my data is finished. And then there's an operation called re-heapify. Van Afrikaanse tong is dit 'n knoop. Bou die hoop. Klink so Stellenbosch Universiteit. That whip thing was very unfortunate, but anyway. Whip ons kom die examen deur. You know, you know the previous rector had this whole hope thing. Hope about it. Anyway, we even got money to do research. Hope. And we all changed it to, yeah, students hope they'll pass the exams. But anyway, okay. So a whip is a heap. Ons whip, julle gaan die heap verstaan. So when you get your data, you simply put them in the array, in any order they come in. And then once you have it in the array, it will take you log in operations for the depth. You make sure that this is a heap. If it's not a heap, you swap elements until your final product ends up with the requirements, namely every parent is larger than its 2 children. Okay, and there are 2 operations in the book. The one is called sink, and the other one is swim. So sink says I start at the top of the heap, and I check. Is this a correct one? If in the correct order, if not, swap. Is it in the correct order? If not, swap. Okay. And remember that you search necessarily through n elements to know if something is in order. You just need to look at 2 children. Okay. The other operation is the bottom up. You can also swim up the tree. Silly word, but I don't swim up. But. So sink to go down, top down, swim up to make sure that the node is in the right place. Okay. I want to stop here for a moment. How would this representation help me with sorting? Hoe gaan dit sorteer as ek nou so wil idee? Well, since there are 2, that means that the maximum element must be the root. Yes. So and then I re-heapify and remove the maximum, and re-heapify and move the maximum, and so on. And there you have your things sorted from max to min. If you want to do it the other way, you can. Or you can just keep it and print it out in the reverse order. Okay, so that's how we go with the heap. Right, so the one tricky thing is the sink. So look first. So this is reading word. I got it from the book. Re-heapify. If you do it bottom up, if you find an element that is out of place, say k, you check is k bigger than 1, And is k divided by 2 less than k? Is k divided by 2? So that's, what is k divided by 2 in terms of the heap? Child or parent? Parent. So is less than, so I have to exchange them. Yes, because we said the parent must be bigger. Right? And then, yeah, then you go through the loop and there. Let's look at an example. Yeah, police sinking swim. He's swimming. Okay. Yeah, well, let's go up if get a blood say. Okay, there we go. I'm swimming. Look at the top of the picture. I have SP or blah, blah, blah with T. Now, T is a problem there. Remember, I'm looking from the bottom up. So I will find that I will encounter T before I encounter P. So what I do is I look at node number 5, which is T. It violates the heap order because a child is less than the parent, larger than a parent, right? T is bigger than P. So I would need to exchange. So then the swim says, well, let's exchange, okay? But if I do that, I will find that has a child that is less, that is large. Yeah. So as ek nou omruil, nee, SP or vergeet daai deel. And T. So let's just see. If I exchange P and T, I need to look at T's parent and see the order. S is less than T, so that is 1. So I have to exchange S and T. Yeah.
Wouldn't you first look at N, or do you first go all the way up the chain and then go back?
This is the trickiest algorithm now, and you have to go carefully through the book. There's an more effective always from the right. It's a convention, but okay. You decide what you want to do. You work from the right, they work from the right. So if you all mix, so what they do is they go, in essence, remember this is no break. They walk from the back of the array. Okay, so you says, I get a K while K is bigger than 1. So I move down from to K. So you start at the end of the array, you do your swaps. How many compares will I make at most? And to swim something up to the top, compares. Log in, yes, of course. I'm going through that. I divide K by 2 every time. Yes, so I'm not looking at every element. Element out of place. I move up 1 level of the tree. So at most log n. Okay. Now I'm not going to answer this, but now worry. You found an element out of place, but did you find all of them? Because if I start at the back and then say I find an element out of place, then I swim up the tree. But I have to do it for all the elements, right? So therefore it is n, I claim. Please double check. The swim operation itself is log n, but to use, when I re-heapify, I claim I might have to do it for all the elements, in which case it might be n log n, but the book says it's not. You have to think very about the invariant of a heap. You know what I'm talking about when I talk about invariance, that which stays true throughout the execution of a loop. What is the invariant here? I'm always looking at 3 nodes, and those 3 nodes form a little heap. And I'm keeping that little heap in order. Okay, good. So swim is easy. But what if I do it the other way around? If I want to sink from the top to the bottom. Now this one takes some thinking. If you look at sink on its own, it seems to be easy. You start coupling it with the sorting algorithm itself, it's not that easy. All right, so I want to sink a specific node K, and there are now 2 indices that are of interest, J and K. So you have to keep track of K. With this, it was K and I swapped. I looked at my parent, I swapped. Quite easy to do the swim. But with the sink, it's slightly more difficult. With the sink, if you give me a K and I have to sink it to the bottom, right, then I say, well, 2K is less than N. Why would I do that? N is the number of nodes. Otherwise, it will take me outside the array, no number of elements, right? So I cannot go outside the known number of elements by looking at my children. Yes? And that comes, who asked the question about more children? Yes, so that is absolutely dependent on the fact that I say the heap is complete. I cannot have just one child. Okay, so put 2K, who is my left child. I put that into J. I check if I'm still less than N. If J is less than J plus 1. Now, in a heap, if I have J, J plus 1. J plus 1 is my sibling. Now I first have to check if I am less than my sibling. If so, I increase J by 1. What does that do? That enforces my do the right branch first. Okay. So if I'm less than my sibling, I'm going to take the right branch. And then finally, I can have a look. Is K, if K is not less than J, now what was K? Was the one I was considering. If this is K, then J is 2K, which must be this one. And this is the sibling, so But if this is less than that, I'm going to look at this. Yes. Now I say if K is not less than the one I'm looking at. So if it is not less, in other words, is greater or equal, I don't want to swap. Otherwise, I swap. I don't know why they're not less in there. I think it's because in the API you have less. You don't have a comparator for greater. But the not less was a bit confusing to me in the beginning. So if K is greater than J, I'm fine. Because it has to be greater. That's the invariant for E. If it's not the case, then I exchange. Okay, so that's how I sync. So it's slightly more complicated and it enforces using the right-hand branch, which makes somewhat complicated if you run, oh, this is swim up, slightly more complicated when you go through the example. Yeah, man, what else? Excuse. Okay. I would like to ask you very nicely, take the upper picture, take sync next to it, go through that code, write down the J's and the K's until you've convinced yourself exactly in which order things get swapped. Okay, remember I'm syncing. So I get to S, I get to H. So it's smaller than S. So you would think that, now what about right order? Where does that J plus 1 come in? Work through this example, write it out, step until self because I would love you to understand myself that I might get this. So you a deep picture of it, ask you to show me the nodes are swapped, not the final result, because that's quite obvious. The steps in which exchanges occur. Okay, convince yourself that's what it's supposed to do. So now, yes, I insert stuff. Yes, when stuff things out of order, I swim, I sink. And when I'm finished with my heap, in other words, I just have to remove the maximum element all the time. Now remember that you are in an array. So this is a bit funny. How do we have maximum element from the array? Well, where T is in the array, and you put it right at the end. You exchange it with the last element. Do you get that? Are you all awake? How do I remove? I swap the first, then because now so I and my island of n, because I remove the maximum, n is one less, and the first node is wrong, potentially, maybe wrong, and then I re-heapify, and the maximum again, remove it. Ah, yes, removing it by swapping. Right, so H was wrong, I re-heapified, I got the, I put S, I, G, and so on and so forth, okay? And there I get the elements. Now the interesting thing over here, note that when I finish this, yes, the whole remove max, re-heapify, remove max, re-heapify, the array will be in sorted order Decreasing or increasing? Increasing, yes, which is what we wanted right from the beginning. Yes, because I put the maximum at the end and 3e per 5, and put the maximum second last, and put the maximum third last, and so on, right? So when I finish, when I get to the start of the array, it is in increasing order. So this sorting algorithm does not look like sorting at all whatsoever in any way, but it is. Okay, so you have to know about heap sort. You have to know the properties of what is a heap. Then there's that truly nifty to save memory. Simply storing something. Binary. If I were to implement a heap with pointers, I would need 3 pointers per node. Why? Because sometimes I want to find the parent and sometimes I want to find the children. Yes, so I would have had to implement the upward 3 pointers per node in the classic way. With the array, I just store the information. And I do some clever juggling with indices, and there you go, no pointers needed. Right, so this is principle. What you can leave out in the book, you have to know up to page 318. Yes, 318, which is the sort, but there is something called read through, but you don't have to learn. Just be aware of, because it's interesting anyway. Can I improve heap sort? Multi-way heaps? What is that? They say, well, what I now did was log n base 2. Yes? So I've in principle, you can make the heap a lot, the depth much less if you have more children. Why? Suppose I have 3 children on every node, then I have log 6, have 26 children on each. Depth is log to the base 26 of them, which is bigger log 2. Or much more. Incidentally, I choose 26 for a very specific reason in the Western alphabet. Right? So if you do to that can have 26 children to a node. All right, so there are multi-way heaps. Oh, actually, no, you do have to know. Think about array resizing of keys. I know immutable is because yes, on index because you can ignore. Yes, I think it starts about here up where we are. So page 320 ways through up 3 don't know. Heap sort, right? So what we talked through it, to sort things with heap sort, you bold it, and so the code is almost how the lines are. But if you look at an example, there's a lot of to write down. What does the structure look like when it's not a heapify the structure? And then I remove the maximum. How do I correctify mine? Okay. So this is it for chapter 2. Please think. If you can do this whole, which is not very long, but if you can feed salt. Yes? Okay. And what's too small? On the schedule, you know, not get priorities. You are, but I did, so I've done it here. I assume now I'm going to net het gebeurd.